Welcome, everyone. It is Thursday already. Oh, my. How did we get here so quickly? A little bit has been awake for a little bit, and he was crowing already, so he might chime in soon. I don't know. It just depends on how the spirit moves him. Um, but I came across this question, and somebody was asking, well, I believe in God, or I believe in whoever. Isn't that in direct conflict? Short answer? No. Religion does not conflict with law. Without law, there would be no religion, for one, right? Let me explain why. Yesterday, I kind of touched on it, when I told you, when you see the principles, mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender, when you see them and you recognize them, they are the inner workings of something. You see, religion is man made. Religion is man made. All religions do exactly the same thing. They tell you of the existence of something greater. All of them tell you that. But here now lies the problem. Allegedly, it is not enough for all religions to tell you the same thing, that there is something greater than the self. No, man wants to take it a little bit further and tell you which one of them is right and which one of them is wrong. And if you don't believe, I will punish you. This is what religion does, right? Now, the principles supersede religion. Religion helps humanity. Yes, it helps humanity by teaching them consistency. Hmm? Think about it. You get up every Sunday. If you 7-day Adventist, it's every Saturday. Every Saturday, every Sunday, they have particular things that they do. Religion definitely shows you the principle of rhythm because each religion has their own pattern, their own way of doing things. That's how you recognize them, by their rhythm, right? That's the principle of rhythm, the ebb and the flow, the recurrence of, the showing of the pattern. Because when you show a pattern, you know exactly what you're looking at. Another word for pattern would be habit. Another word still would be ritual. So you see, all of those things show you the principle of rhythm at work. So it doesn't matter which religion you want to choose, or you might not want to choose a religion at all. But one cannot escape law. One does not necessarily, how do I put it, practice law per se. I tell you to practice every day, being deliberate to use the law. But one does not need to practice because it is how you live every single day. You do not need to remember scripture to propel your life. The principles do these things naturally, and we just flow with it. All are governed by way of principle, mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. A Jew, a Catholic, a Muslim, a Protestant, an agnostic, an atheist all have a back garden, and they all plant corn. Which one of them will reap peas? Not a one. Why? Because the principle of correspondence tells us as within, so without. It is irrelevant what you want to choose to believe in. It is irrelevant how long you spent your life doing it. The point of the matter is, the principles have always been there, and they will continue to be there. Whether you believe in this dimension or another dimension, or multiple dimensions, is also irrelevant. Because the principles, again, principle number one, mentalism, the all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. That one right there will tell you. And it's funny. It is very funny how scripture, if you read the Bible, scripture says, nothing can separate you from the love of God, neither height nor depth, heaven nor hell. Now, people will interpret that as God being this person, and nothing can separate you from God. But in actuality, it is the principle of mentalism. Why? Because wherever you go, oh God, don't make me sing it. Wherever you go, whatever you do, I will be right here waiting for you. Right, Richard Marx? Your awareness of yourself, of your existence, is always with you because it is the first principle. One is always aware of themselves. So if you go to the mountaintop, if you go to the bowel of hell, you know where you are. You know you. That is the first principle. The all is mind. The universe is mental. The all, you say? Now, some would say, well, Angela, the all is God. But you and I, when we hear the word God, depending on how you've been influenced, you will have an opinion of God. You will have a judgment of God. But when you hear all, it's a very interesting thing. The scripture also says the all in all. Hello, the all in all? Yes. There's that one thing that is within all people. Black, white, Indian, Asian, doesn't matter what you are. All people are aware of their own existence. It is the awareness, it is the awareness that creates. And this is something Neville Goddard always says, creation is finished. Why would he say such a thing? Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. Meaning, you could choose this cause, it already has its effect. You could choose that effect, oh, but it already has its cause. So that's why you can surmise that creation is finished. If you plant, you reap. You understand? Creation is finished. So the main question was, but what if I upset God? See, now that is a perception of God based upon how you and I were raised. Now, if the church stomped all over your feelings, you're going to have a perception of God that's really not all that great. See, the question is not, is God real? Is God not real? That's really not the question. The question is this: what have you observed? You have observed that you exist. Mentalism. Yes. You have also observed this experience called coincidence. Every single one of us has experienced a coincidence or coincidences. Now remember what a coincidence is. A coincidence is an experience, an external experience that matches your internal at that time. For instance, oh my God, I was just thinking of you and you called me. Well, what a coincidence. You were thinking of them and there they were on the outside. So coincidence is The external matching the internal. That is the principle of correspondence. As within, so without. Oh, but Angela, I can't turn my mind off. And as my grandmother would say, I can't turn your mouth off, because everything moves. Nothing stands still. What do you mean nothing stands still, Angela? I rest. Resting is not stillness. You rest, you awaken. You had to move from rest to being awake. You had to move. Nothing stands still. This is how things flow into seasons. We're in summer right now, and summer moves into fall. Fall moves into winter. If it ever stops, we stop. And we cannot stop because that would be a direct violation of principle, and principles are never violated because they cannot be violated. You will never plant corn and get peas. If you want to pick peas, you have to plant peas. One cannot violate principle, and that's why it is so amazing, regardless of your religion. If you are afraid, your chemical response in your body will show your fear, whether you are Jewish or Muslim or Catholic or Protestant. So long as you have that adrenaline in your body, no epinephrine, it shows what you are thinking. As within, so without. It must always register. And because we are in these bodies, they must show. So the invisible is moving from invisible to visible, which now lands us on the principle of polarity. People say, but Angela, we live in a dual world. No, we do not. Only one thing is moving, and it is you, moving through the stages of what you said you were. The seed that is planted, if you don't know what seed is planted, watch it. It will sprout, it will flower, and it will bear fruit. Thereby you will say, oh my God, look at that, a mango tree. Did you guess? No. You just simply observed the stages of this plant as it progressed. And because it was a mango, it had to show itself as such. So whatever you say you are, whatever you believe yourself to be, you will have to behave in that fashion. You see, we always like to think that we contradict ourselves. But we're always by law, we're always by principle. Always. So whether you get up and you turn to the east to pray, and you pray 3 times a day like Daniel did, it's irrelevant. What you did show yourself is, though, that is you stayed committed to a habit, to a rhythm. You get up at the same time every day, and you pray the same time every day in the same direction for the same length of time. It is the principle of rhythm. But you see, what has people asking the question if the principles conflict with religion? The root of that is fear. Because people don't want to disappoint God, nor do they want to be punished by God. They want to be rewarded by God. But you see the principles. I want you to observe something. If I come and I say to you, do as I say, and I will ... Reward or punishment is irrelevant. You will behave according to the effect. Listen. You will behave according to the effect. If you do not want to be punished, you will toe the line. If you want the reward, you will toe the line. So the effect will always bring about the cause because they are together. But if you look at the way you behave based upon, look at it. We conform because. So the principles make that easier for you by showing you what is beneath the choice that you make. Whereas sometimes religion can muddy it because man, humanity, gets these little things called feelings and emotions involved, but without understanding. You use the principles and keep your emotions because you understand, you comprehend why the emotion is there, because it is an effect to show you something else. It shows you the cause of that emotion. The principles show us, you know how scripture would tell you, thou shalt not. It says, thou shalt not, because if you do, well, there will be a severe punishment. But nobody addresses the fear. The principles, on the other hand, say to you, oh, what are you doing? What is the present effect? What is the present effect in your life? This is what the principles blatantly ask you. What are the present effects? And you look at it and you say, well, I'm doing this. Then the principles ask you, do you want to continue doing this? Or would you like to change? And you say, well, I want to stay. The principles say, carry on. If you want to change, the principles say, what would you like to become? What do you want to be aware of being? That is what the principles always will say. The reason being that the principles work in this way, the principles do not use any tactic at all to get you to comply. The principles simply are what they are. And it's, I laugh at it all the time because it doesn't matter what I want to do. Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. You cannot pray them away. But Angela, I've been praying for health this whole time, and my body is still messed up. The principles say, would you like to be aware of health? It's a simple question. The principles don't ask you, do you think it is possible? The principles show you that everything is possible. It says every cause has its effect and every effect its cause. So if you're dealing with a health issue and all you can see is your illness, as within, so without. But Angela, how come nobody can grow arms and legs back? Do we know this? It is only because we see it happen a particular way all the time that we think that that's the way it is. Because nobody has ventured to say, well, let me apply principle. Nobody has ventured to do it. Because every time you do it, what do you hear in the back of your head? This chick is crazy. Ain't nobody can. What am I, a lizard? I can't grow my tail. I'm not a lizard. That is within. That is within. So, as within, so without. Scripture puts it this way. It is impossible to please God unless you have faith, right? Without faith, it is impossible to please God, is what Scripture would say. If you're going to come to God, you must believe that He is what Scripture would say. But that is the principle of correspondence. You will always voice what is within yourself. We call it opinion. So whether you are Catholic or Protestant or agnostic or atheist, you all voice an opinion. As within, so without. So you can get up today and change religions. You can get up today and do a denominational change, but you will never escape cause and effect. You will never escape correspondence. The correlation here, or that's not the right word. What I want to say to you is this: we can change religions, but we cannot change principle. What is eternal is eternal. There will be no, but I believe this. No, I believe that. There won't be, we won't pull a King James and say, well, I don't want to be married to you anymore, but I can't divorce you as a Catholic, so I will start Anglican so that I can divorce you. You can't do that with the principles. So religion changes according to who looks at it or to who practices it, but principles remain the same no matter who and what you are and where you're coming from. So when people say or they ask the question, but what if you don't know Jesus? Am I going to go to hell if I don't know Jesus? What is behind that question? Fear of separation is behind the question. You could be running in the forest. You know the principles. You know the principles. If I do this, this will happen. Every single time, you and I live the principles all day, every day, and we can't stop. Can't stop. No, we won't. You know what? We always live the principles every single day. Every day, all day. We don't escape them. We don't. The moment sperm meets egg, something happens. And it goes through stages. And it becomes. Now, when sperm meets egg, if you don't know which sperm met the egg, you will know by the time it presents itself in the world what it was. That does not require religion. So what I'm saying to you is, whether you choose to pray to Allah, whether you choose Yeshua, whether you choose Yahweh, you're still governed by principle. You're still governed by principle. So there's no right, there's no wrong with what you want to choose, because that choice that you make will bring about an effect. So you take your pick and you live with the effect that you've chosen. So there's no sense in beating ourselves up trying to figure out who's right and who's wrong, because where do the principles come from? Go all the way back to the beginning of the conversation. The principles are the internal workings of something. And if you would stop and ask yourself, what is it the internal workings of? Who is it the internal workings of? So then you begin to say, but wait, if as within, so without, as above, so below. If what is within me shows itself, go as above, so below now. What is above? I see here now, which would tell you that you are in the mind of something. But we can't get our heads around that one just yet. You and I are the thoughts of something. But we can't get our heads around that part yet because we've spent so much time thinking that something is outside of us. Nothing is outside of you other than what you are. As within, so without. So if you believe God to be a tyrant, well then the way you practice that religion will be tyranny. Because that's what you believe it to be. As within, so without. If you believe God to be kind and merciful and just, well then that is how you will behave on the outside. Because it is what is contained within. You don't have to believe me. Because it is not something that one believes. It is something that one observes. You don't have to beat me because I don't believe what you believe. Think about that for a moment. How can I beat you into submission to get you to do what I want you to do? Is that not what we call the playground bully? Then the principles say, whatever you are on the inside is what you will experience on the outside. So then I keep myself in check to know that, what am I doing, Angela? What am I doing? Am I living from a place of fear? Oh, I don't want to offend anybody. So then I remain silent, thereby being chewed up on the inside because of fear. And I live my life as one of fear, and I suffer the consequences of fear. You see, we don't think that fear has a consequence. Anxiety. Your body will always show you what you are feeling. It can't stop doing it. So you pay attention. You do not suppress, but you examine. Why is it that I am petrified to do this thing? Why am I afraid of judgment? Once you recognize what is underneath it, that's why I'm subtly saying to you, examine your religion. No one is calling into question whether you are right or wrong, because that is not my place. Because if I judge you as within, so without. If I speak ill of you, oh, who does that have to pass through first? If I try to make you conform, who does that have to pass through first? Me. And I have to bear the repercussion of cause and effect. And quite frankly, I don't want that kind of effect. Because it does not feel good to me to want to beat you into submission. Do you know what that feels like? You gotta do what I tell you. Now I'm agitated and I'm pacing. How can I get you to conform? Oh Lord, no, that is too much. Because then my body is now the one that will develop an illness because I am trying to force you to do something. So no thanks. I'm good. Oh, but I suffer these headaches. Why? As within, so without. What aches on the inside? In the thoughts. What has you there? You see, religion wouldn't religion would be easier to digest if we understood how to apply it. Thou shalt have none other gods before me. But isn't there just one? And I know some people are upset. It's okay that you are. But don't remain upset. Begin to ask questions. Who are you gonna you can ask me those questions if you want to, but the question you have to ask is always of yourself. What does that mean? How can I apply this thing that I've just learned in my holy book? But you see, we have been taught to use the book as a sledgehammer without looking at what's behind it. Fear. And as within, so without. You can't escape it. You cannot hide in a religion or behind one. Because whatever is contained within the religion will show itself. As within, so without. All one need do is observe. So it's not a bash. It is a, what are you looking at? What are you doing? My son is something else. When he was younger, he went to church with his grandparents, my dad and his wife. And he says, why is everything so loud? Is God deaf? He got a spanking. Not from me. But the question was valid. Because naturally, that's what children do. They ask questions when things don't make sense. He goes, it's loud. Is God deaf? Because what happens if you can't hear? What's the first thing? What? You yell. What? Uh-huh. So naturally, one would ask. But we beat that out of our children. Don't question God. And my son said to Grandpa, but when I go to school, I have to ask questions. I have to ask questions so I can learn. So if I can't ask God questions, then God must not want me to learn. And my father looked me dead in the face and said, he got this from you. I said, but is he wrong though? Don't we have to ask to learn? As within, so without. When you ask, you are answered. You see, we think that is a mythical thing to say. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be opened. That is the principle of correspondence. What are you asking? You have to see the answer to your question. As within, so without. Every single time, whether you ask, knock, or seek, you are doing the exact same thing, looking for a response. So the response has to match that which you are seeking. This is why when you ask, you are answered. This is why when you seek, you find. This is why when you knock, the door is opened. Because as within, so without. So today, my beautiful friends, whether you are what you were raised as, that's perfectly fine. But it is just something that you do. It is just a habit at this point now. I grew up as Christian. Shoot, baptized twice. Thrice even, I think. Whew. And that's all right. It set the foundation. It set the foundation for me. It did. So that's why I can say to you, it's all right to be what you practice. It's all right. But know, when things happen, they're not happening as a result of something external. Because they will never happen from an external perspective. The external is always going to be the reflection of that which is within. This is why scripture can tell you every seed after its own kind. As long as the earth remains, there shall be seed time and harvest, cause and effect. So, whatever it is you practice, celebrate the fact that you are seeing the inner workings of the all, and that the all is within you. The all is within you. I'm sorry, you can't even wash it away, honey. You can't wash it away. You can't gouge it out because the all is within. Now, however you want to dress up the all is up to you. But the all is within, and whatever is within has to come out. So, whatever religion you want to practice, do you. Just do you. Just do you. And recognize that every man will awaken in their own time to the principles. And once you start practicing the principles deliberately, seeing them and moving accordingly, deliberately, because we do it now, but just unwittingly. We move according to cause and effect because it just happens. But if you are deliberate, now you can choose the effect. How does one choose an effect? Well, if I ask you, what do you want? Well, that's the effect. That simple phrase, be the change you want to see in the world. Well, you have to embody it. The principle of gender. Masculine, because we're always generating. That is masculine. We generate the change we want to see in our mind's eye, what we want to experience on the outside, the effect. On the inside, it is masculine. But once you embody it and it has shape, now it is feminine. Not to be confused with man, woman, boy, girl, male, female, are the effects, not the causes. They're the effects. So you see, deliberately use the principles by deciding what type of person you want to be in the world. You can see it, you can feel it. And through practice, listen, you have a religion that you use, you are good at practice already. Of course you are. You're good at practice already. So, what do you want to become? Begin to practice that. And you know very well that the more you practice, the better you become at what you practice. So practice being deliberate. And deliberately, this child scared me. Little bit. People say, well, Angela, how do I pray? As within, so without is how one prays. As within, so without. If you did not have the ability to speak, would you not still pray? Of course. Because prayer is that inner focus on the thing you say you want to become. Doing the rosary or chanting just simply helps you to focus on one thing on the inside. This is how it happens. So, anyway, who's with us today? Who is with us? Oracle Tree House. Ooh, we know that little bit. Why do you sound that way? Oh my God. Little bit. Oh, come. Oh, yes, my darling. There you go, honey. There you go. Now, sir. Much better, yes? mm. He was facing the wall. Thank God for that extra layer of membrane over their eardrums, or we'd have problems. Who's with us this morning? I started on fan base. Let's continue there. Oh, Reacher is here. Ricky Tan is in the house. Maggie. And Lil Bit is here too. Oracle Treehouse, Miss McQueen, Casey, now my sweet Moon, and Dolphin Duck, Ray, and Woo. Now, um, woo we on our own. Woo we on our own. Is that what you're saying? What a pleasure it is to meet you, sir. Welcome to the space. And Michael, uh, Solo Breezy is here on Twitter. Oh, hey. Oh, Dark God 646. This is the first time ever saying your name, sir. Welcome to the space. You're in these YouTube streets. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Um, Usually the format is just I share something with you in the mornings to get you up and out the door thinking about things and looking at your life and recognizing that you can change at all times. That's what the principle of vibration would tell you. Everything changes, it moves, nothing stands still, so you are not stuck. Right? You're not stuck. Sometimes a little bit does get stuck though, and I have to help him because he's got that leg and he's got his gangster lean, right? So, so we got to help our baby out a little bit. But that's what we do here. And people will message me, people will DM me. Angela, what about this? Angela, what about that? Listen, a little bit. Guilt and shame are funny things, but as within, so without. You walk with guilt and shame, that's how you live your life. How do you get rid of it? I'm waiting, sir. Are you gonna crow again? No, he's not. Uh, how does one get rid of guilt and shame? Well, you can't force it out because wherever you turn your attention to is what expands. Not because I say so. We know these things. You have a house plant and you don't water it, it will wither and die for want of attention, which is water and sunlight. So whatever you give your attention to must flourish. So instead of fighting against, this is sometimes the problem with quote unquote how we practice prayer by way of religion. The more we say, but God, heal my ... God, heal my ... Where's that coming from? What is the underlying thing on the inside? All the while your mouth is saying heal, but on the inside, you're saying I am sick. And whatever you declare yourself to be, scripture says, let the weak say what? I am strong. You already know that you're weak. You know this. But he's saying to you, I don't care what you know. What do you want to be? So that's why you say, I am ... So when you begin to declare I am, whatever that thing is you want it to be at the end, you fill in the blank. When you begin to declare I am, instead of, but help me, Lord, where is that coming from? To beg and to grovel would indicate weakness. And as within, so without. When you grovel and you beg, you're easily stepped upon. Because it's the position that you have assumed. As within, so without. So when you hear scripture tell you, let the weak say, I am strong, what does strength look like? Does strength look like muscles? Do you need muscles for the thing you're trying to do? What does strength look like? Begin to see what strength looks like. Remember, because now it's masculine, right? It's inside of you. It's inside. But you will have to embody it because that which is masculine becomes feminine by way of its expression. It moves. It is polarity. It moves. So when you say, I am strong, and here's what strength looks like. I am healthy, and here's what health looks like. What have you done? You've just changed. Literally, you have changed. When I say literally, that's exactly what I mean. Because remember, the body has to register. So if you are constantly seeing what healthy looks like, for instance, if you can't run up the stairs, but you pretend you're a dancer, right? This is how you do it to help yourself out here. You pretend you are a dancer. What does a dancer do? The dancer is always in front of the mirror, moving and shaking. The dancer is always watching themselves act. So you have to do the thing in your mind's eye. And when you do that thing in your mind's eye, neurologically inside of your brain, you are firing the neurons that are there, and they are rewiring themselves towards health, because that is what you're looking at. Now, for instance, if you don't believe me, go back to the story of Jacob and Laban. I've told you this before, and we're going to close with this one. I've told you this before. Laban told Jacob, Laban, son of a gun. He told Jacob, listen, you can have all the weak and sickly stuff and the spotted livestock. You can have all of those. And Jacob, being the smart one, because this is how you apply principle in your life, this is how you apply scripture. He was like, spotted, right? He used the principle of correspondence, as within, so without. How so? Well, he gave the livestock something to look at, spotted things. So he had to get their attention focused in a particular place, which is the spots, so that as they see the spots within, they will reproduce the spots on the outside. But they weren't weak and sickly, though. Oh, he only bred the strong and the robust. Yeah? Oh, he sure did. Because he knew that which is within is what will come out. So you pick the strong and you tell them, okay, here's what I want you to have within yourself. Put your attention here on these spots. Focus on these spots, because that's what you will become. That's what the story means. So, to apply it now in your everyday life, turn your attention upon the desired spots. And you do not remove your attention. You keep it there because you know one thing, because you don't have to hope, do you? You don't have to hope. You just need to know that what I have within is what I will express on the outside. So let me focus on getting this thing on the inside, and as the dancer, get the steps down. Which means what? It means to rehearse that which you would be doing in reality. Rehearse it. What would you be speaking like? What would you be walking like? What would you be talking like? How would you drive your car? How would you walk into work? You would do all of those things in a particular way if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. And so you just do it and do it and do it just like the dancer. Get your steps down. You practice and you do it deliberately, invoking, because it's already there. It's already at work. The principle of correspondence is already at work. You are just lining up what you want on the inside, because you know that which is within is what will show itself on the outside. So you see, do you have to beg? No. You just got to get the vision in your mind's eye. What is it that you want to become? What would you be doing that shows you you are it? So you see, my beautiful friends, that is truly how one prays. by turning the focus upon that which one wants to experience. You want to experience health? You want to experience wealth? Well, then you can't keep saying things like, I can't afford that. But that is what you truly believe. So that's what's within you. So as within, so without. So how do you change? What would you be doing if you paid your bills on time and in full? Listen, if you are paying your bills on time and in full, it means something. It means you don't lack nothing. So how would it make you feel to know that you paid your bills on time and in full? Whew, you would feel a sense of relief. So begin to feel your relief. Because that's the beautiful thing. You can feel relief over and over and over again. As within, so without. And now you begin to literally rewire your brain towards relief. And all of the things that match relief is what you will experience. Why you sometimes religious folks are just miserable because they do not understand where they are focused upon. Anyway, let me stop because if I don't, Lil Bit's gonna crow some more, and that's my cue to get up and feed me, mother. And I gotta go make sure that Lady and Chicoletta are doing fine. And Chicoletta, I think it's a girl, I don't know, because it's so small. Little tiny Chicoletta is 1 week old today. Hello? Chicoletta is 1 week old. If you're on Fanbase, you can see Chicoletta because she's in my PTR. Mm-hmm. She's 1 week old, y'all. I am watching Polarity at work. Took 21 days for Lady to sit on that egg. 21 days. Longest 21 days of my life. Waiting for this little chick to emerge. But there was the stage of Polarity. Now she's in another stage. And pretty soon she will move to another stage. See? We all go through polarity, my friends. So deliberately begin to practice the principles. And sometimes it may seem uncaring when I say, I don't care what you're going through. Do you know why not? Not because I'm heartless, but because what you're going through is an effect. And every effect has its cause. So if at present the effect you are experiencing is unsatisfactory, then choose a different effect. Thereby, the corresponding cause shall emerge. That's why I say I don't care. Not because I'm unfeeling, but because I know that every cause has its effect. And I know the way the law works. See? So you can do it. You can do it. Listen, I love you guys. I truly do. I truly love you. And that is why I get up every morning and tell you, apply the principles. Now, what are they? Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. Now, if you're like Oracle Treehouse, you are drawn to mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. That's her favorite one. So, because it's her favorite one, she lives all of them at exactly the same time. I don't really have a favorite one. Some people love cause and effect. But the funny thing is this, when you have a favorite one, you've done all of them at the same time. So just pick one and practice living by that one. As within, so without. What feeling I got within today? What feeling do I have within me today? Man, that was yesterday. I'm driving on the street minding my own business. This woman next to me in the RAV4. Now, she was behind me at the light. And I can see the reflection of whoever the passenger is. I can see them. And let me tell you something. As in Beijing, would say, she face set up like rain. She was vexed. Listen, she moat push up, huh? Meaning she was angry. I don't know what she was angry about. But I just knew she looked vexed. And I said to myself, girl, with that double chin, you should smile because it will go away. That is what I said. Don't you come from me, because it was really obvious in my rearview mirror. And I'm like, look, stop frowning and fretting so much and your face would look good. But you know what? That's what I said. So anyway, I'm watching them drive. And I knew she's angry. And I said, let me see how this is going to go, how this is going to play out. So she sped up. But here's the problem with a lack of confidence when you're behind the wheel. She was timid to pass. And because she was timid to pass, she almost hit the person next to her because she didn't shoulder check. Listen, it could only have gone one way. You have to have confidence when you do things. And I'm just watching this unfold, and I was like, oh, Lord. I said, whoo, girl, you better slow down. You can't be having that kind of insecurity. I want to be fast, too. No, you're going to hurt yourself or somebody else. But if you watch long enough, you'll see people. But don't get caught up. Don't be busy seeing the speck in somebody else's eye and missing the plank in your own. That's what I tell myself on a daily basis. I said, girl, you can look outside all you want, but you better check yourself. That's what I do. Because as within, ow, so without, right? Anywho, I love you, and according to YouTube, I have been yattering on for 56 minutes and 43. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow if you want to spend some time with us, that is. I don't know what we're talking about tomorrow yet. It'll come to me. It always does. Because I ask, and ask and you shall receive. So, I know it will come. You know, it will come. And I'll see you right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Fanbase, and TikTok. We coming, don't fret. We coming, TikTok. I can do TikTok on my phone, but I can't stream through Restream on my TikTok just yet. But we will get there. I forget how many more days, but this is where we'll be. 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me, Lil Bit, Lady, and Chickaletta. Because my creativity knows no bounds. Ah, I'm just going to go and fuss with her now, as Get It Chick would say. Who's fussing with your soul today? I'm going to go fuss with my chickens because they're cute. And yes, they're inside the house. What's wrong with you? Anyway, I love you. I do. And if you have questions, you know where I'm at. Any one of these platforms or my link tree, there's a little envelope on there. It's not the offering plate envelope at church. It's an email envelope. So don't be afraid to hit it, okay? Anyhow, parting is such a sweet sorrow. And last night I did a little bit of a memorial for Bob. He's one of my workmates. He passed away on Saturday. It was a little bit somber at work yesterday. It really was, because somebody else was filling his shift. And all I can remember is the last things I said to him. I said, Bob, you looking like the Backstreet Boys. Because of his new haircut, and he ran his hands through his hair, and he goes, well, you know, I'm young at heart. And so I did some hymns for Bob. I don't know what Bob believed. But I all know that at these trying times, we all want comfort. So I did some hymns of comfort. Because Bob may be gone from the physical realm, but don't get it twisted. Bob is aware of where he is now. I don't know where that is, but I know he does. He's aware. He can't not be. Principle of mentalism is always at work. And can Bob hear me? He doesn't have ears, but he knows. Because he is of one and the same awareness. So for anyone who's lost someone, whether it be family, friend, pet. We are all one. And should you just open up your heart to send a heartfelt I love you, they get the message and they respond. Well, you'll feel it. You'll feel it. Oh, I love you. Peace out, everybody. Jesse is in the house, baby. Jesse, I just was in the chat. Summer Rose is in the house. Well, anyhow, y'all know where to catch the replay. Hey, speaking of replay, I don't see Flo Smiles. Hmm. Is the app apping or is Flo Smiles not here? I don't know. But Flo Smiles will get y'all caught up, don't you fret. And if you have a question or a topic, slide into my DMs and let me know. And we'll touch on it, okay? All right, y'alls. Mwah. Blessings to you.